Hi, friends. I'm Emily Lay, and you're listening to the Simplified podcast. If you're looking to simplify your life and organize your home, then you are in the right place. Every week, we invite you to explore practical ways to organize and automate the complicated parts of life so you can focus on what truly matters most. Well, I am so excited to share that we just launched our brand new desk collection over at emilylay.com. And you guys have to see it to understand how much fun these products are. Hop over to emilylay.com today before these items sell out. They are so cute and will go very fast. Happy Valentine's Day, you guys. Almost. I'm kind of glad we're close to Valentine's Day because A, that means we're out of January, and that makes me very happy. And B, that also means I get to think about how to shower my people with all kinds of love and chocolate. Relationships are the good stuff, aren't they? No matter who it is, your mom, your best friend, your son, your partner, your neighbor, these connections matter so deeply. We were made to be with each other and take care of each other. And I love any reason to celebrate that. And I also love any reason I get to invite my favorite person in the world onto this podcast. Of course, I'm talking about my husband, the one and only Bryan Lay. Bryan and I have been married for 15 years, and he makes me laugh more than any single human being. So today, we thought we'd lend a hand to our listeners and share some of our super professional relationship advice. Please note the extreme air quotes happening behind the camera here. I asked you guys to send in some questions on Instagram stories a couple weeks ago, and you did not disappoint. We have a fun mix of silly and serious questions about romantic relationships, so buckle up, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this very fun conversation about relationship advice with my very own Bryan Lay. Well, question number 1 comes to us from Paige in Phoenix. Paige says, "Hi, Emily and Bryan. I'm getting married in May, and I am so excited. My question is, if you could go back to the days before your wedding, what advice would you give to yourself?"
When I hear before wedding, I probably make too far of a leap because I basically just lump that in as pre-kids.
What was that like?
It's freedom. No, I don't know that I do a good job in my head of remembering pre-marriage. I just remember before kids and after. It's like BC, right? I would just say enjoy your other. Like, enjoy the times that you guys have together. You know, when you get home from work, go to the gym together, go work out together, go to the movies together, go whatever it is. Spending that time together it's the last time you're going to have to do it, because pretty soon you're going to be spending that time in a larger group or with family and with kids and entertaining kids and, you know, splitting up the duties and kids and taking care of kids. And what Emily and I really just had to talk about this recently, that we did not take full advantage of the time when it was just us, of just really traveling or exploring or trying new hobbies. You know, now I want to learn how to play the guitar. I don't feel like I have enough time. I'm sure I could carve it out, but I certainly did have enough time back then, and I just didn't do it.
Early on for us, we were also both growing our careers like hardcore. And so we were like really invested in that. You know, like when I think about pre-kids, I think there's no way I could have done what I did with Simplified if I had a whole bunch of kids underfoot in the beginning.
I want to be conscious of the question. The question was pre-marriage.
True. So in this episode, at the very end, if you listen all the way to the very end, the little task we give you for you to take away from the podcast is probably our best marriage advice. And you have to listen to the end to hear it, but it's all about something that we do and have done since we were dating called throwing it away when you get into a tiff.
Oh, so I can't use that in any of these answers?
No,
because that's like a little bit of giveaway.
You got to go to the end to hear it. It's
teaser.
really,
I like it.
It's good. It's good advice, though. Question 2, Hannah from Raleigh asked, "Listen, I love my husband. He's a great dad, but he may be meeting Jesus pretty soon if he doesn't stop being a slob." Hold on. "I clean up my kitchen every time I'm in there, and it is pristine when I leave. But then Hurricane Brad comes through, and there are coffee grounds, used paper towels, and dishes in the sink when we are definitely a put it in the dishwasher, please house. How can I get him to see how much this annoys me? Will he ever change, or am I doomed forever?"
Is this the moment where I have my boys back and I just, you know, But I know he's never going to listen to this. So
Right.
like, do
Brad
I just back
doesn't-
Hannah? Do I just back Hannah here?
You back
'Cause
Hannah.
she's going to be the one listening.
Right.
Look, good luck. I'm hopeful by meeting Jesus soon. It's just because you happen to have a friend named Jesus that you want to meet. I don't know. But, I struggle with this too because I'm a guy, and guys struggle with this, especially when guys marry very structured and OCD, organized type A personalities like
Who?
perhaps my wife is, or perhaps maybe even you, Hannah. But I will say this. That is a battle that you could continue to rigorously fight. And you will make strides. I mean, here, Emily and I are 15 years in, and there are pockets of my life where I'm a little bit better about picking up and cleaning than others.
Yeah.
But I am far from perfect. And
Unless it's your truck.
I'm meticulous about my vehicle. But I will say that I really appreciate over the years Emily learning to give me a little bit of grace in that category, knowing that I'm never going to meet her where she needs to be met in cleanliness or organization or structure or routine.
And that's probably for the best, if we're being honest.
There's topics and things and issues that I wish she would meet me fully where I'm at, and she can't and doesn't. And I've had to know that, like, I've pushed you about as far as I'm going to get you, and I need to kind of give you a little bit of grace.
Are we talking about spending money?
Budgeting and talking about budgeting and the whole concept of,
I have an allergy to that.
yeah, you just don't grasp it the way that I wish you did. And for years, I beat my head against a wall, and we argued, and just like you argued about me leaving dishes in the sink. And so I would say, Hannah, get him as far along as you can, but know that he's never going to meet you there. And that's okay. He's the same guy you married, right? They're the same guy you fell in love with. So don't try to change him. Just be a little bit accepting and realizing that he's not wired the same way you are.
We did a podcast episode with Nader Tawwab, who's an expert on boundaries a while back. If you go look it up, she and I had a conversation about changing people and how a lot of times we want to change people. And so we work very hard to try to change people, but it's literally impossible.
I will say with cleanliness, though, there's a fine line between my other doesn't tidy up the same way I do and isn't meticulous. And then there's another boundary of like being flat out disrespectful while leaving your stuff around.
Right.
So I would have my eyes clawed out if I like just put my dishes in the sink and walked away while Emily's standing in the kitchen. And like,
Whoa, you do that all the
I
time.
would assume that she was going to clean up after me without helping. No way. I help out
Okay.
every time.
You do help a lot. With those dishes, though, Hannah. All right. Moving on. Question 3. This question comes from Lauren in Rossville, Georgia. Hey, Bryan and Emily. I'm 25. My question is, how did you know each other was the one? Is this where we tell how we met? I can't remember if we've done that yet.
I feel like you've done that 100 times.
No. Okay, the short version I'll tell before Bryan answers this question. When I was 16, I got a job as a hostess at a restaurant called Daryl's in Pensacola. And Bryan was a bartender / server, but he was, 3 years older than me? Mm-hmm. And so he was like in college in a fraternity and drove a Jeep, and I was like, I newly had a driver's license. So our age difference was pretty massive at the time. I thought he hung the moon. I was dating someone else. He dated someone else. And then, long story short, how many years later? 10?
9.
I always, all 9 or 10 of those years, asked about him. We had mutual friends, wondered what he was up to. I thought he was really cool because he was very smart and very driven. And he walked around Daryl's with this finance book because he was studying to become a stockbroker. And I just thought that was really cool. But we did not date for 10 years. How did you know I was the one?
Okay. So this is different than the whole I just thought she was really hot and she made my heart feel good. There was a little more of a thought to it than that. Because, when you're in your 20s, everyone looks good. Everyone feels good about themselves. There's lots of people that are compatible, but they're not that one or that person. I had a lot going on. I knew I was ambitious. I knew I wanted to do things in life, and I knew I needed someone to kind of match me there. And then I also knew that I wanted to feel in whatever relationship I was in or about to get in or whatever, I knew that I wanted to feel extremely loved. I did not want to feel like I had to guess or wonder or think about it. I just wanted to feel like it was easy. I remember those being the two qualities that when I met Emily just kind of jumped off the pages. She was very ambitious. She had goals that matched mine. So I felt from a practical standpoint, taking all the emotion out of it, I felt like this is somebody I could build a life with. And that was important to me. I'm not saying
Yeah.
it has to be important to everybody, but it was important to me. But then, and we probably did this for each other, but on my behalf, like you just did a really good job of making me feel very loved and comfortable and supported. And I just remember really early on really cherishing and appreciating the fact that I knew exactly how much I was loved by you. And that in turn I reciprocated it because I felt it.
That's so sweet. That's the long way of saying she was super into you.
Yeah.
You didn't have to try very hard. Oh, goodness. How did I know he was the one? I don't know. I mean, if I would have gone any other direction with my life and you would have asked me today at 39 years old, like, who's the guy you always wondered about? It would have been Bryan Lay. And I always called you by your first and last name. Anyway, I don't know. I just always, it was the same reason. Like, I love that you were ambitious and that you had big goals and that you were funny. And I feel like when we started dating, there just wasn't a whole lot of like games and
No
guessing.
games,
and, like,
just a lot of honest conversation, a lot of openness about what we were feeling and doing. Well, and that might have been forced because we were doing long distance.
But we were older too. Like we weren't 15. So how did I know he was the one? I don't know. I feel like you just know that you can do all of life with someone, like the good and the bad and the hard, quickly. All right, question number 4. Brittany from Chicago. She has a question for Bryan. My boyfriend says he never wants anything for birthdays and holidays. I say that too, but we all know it's not true. So what the heck do I actually get him? I mean, he's not really expecting me to give him nothing, right?
I tell him this all the time. Like, don't get me. I really do mean it.
No, you don't. No one means that.
I mean, look, most guys I know, just if they want something, they go get it. We're simple-minded creatures.
But don't you love a really thoughtful gift?
Yes, of course. Of course. And you're really good at gift giving. And I also think that it's also a little bit of a guy's way out of having to give good gifts is if they don't.
Boo.
You put an immense amount of pressure on me, not because
You bought me a frying pan.
it was a skillet.
He bought me a frying pan for Mother's Day, and I hate cooking.
It was a cast iron skillet with a cookbook of how to cook things on cast iron.
Dear Lord.
And it did not receive.
Did not go over well. It went over like a lead balloon. Weekdays are a lot. From the time I hit snooze on my alarm, the 5 of us lays are going here and there and everywhere. And unless I'm on top of everything, I'm not quite sure if everyone grabbed some food on their way out the door. But thankfully, Green Chef makes our mornings and our evenings a whole lot easier. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well, and their recipes feature premium proteins, seasonal organic produce, and sustainably sourced seafood to make healthy eating not only easy, but also delicious. Guys, I am so excited because Green Chef just launched a new add-on service called Green Market. It's a one-stop shop for quick breakfasts, healthy lunches, quick proteins, and more that you can easily add on to your weekly order. Need some protein for a bag of salad still left in your crisper? Get some chicken cutlets or even some beef tenderloin. Need a quick breakfast you can heat and eat quickly? They have roasted almond oatmeal and even red pepper and Swiss egg white bites that are my new favorite breakfast because I think they might taste better than a certain coffee chain's egg white bites. Good job, Green Chef. So guys, make your weekdays go a bit more smoothly with Green Chef. Go to greenchef.com/simplified60 and use code simplified60 to get 60% off plus free shipping. I don't know if Green Chef has ever offered a discount this good, so don't miss out. One more time, go to greenchef.com/simplified60 and use code simplified60 to get 60% off plus free shipping. Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well. You know what makes winter better? Leaning into coziness. Soft lights, warm cups of tea, a good book, and the best buttery soft sheets for the best night's sleep. That is why every single bed in my home is stocked with sheets and blankets straight from Boll & Branch. You guys, I cannot tell you how thrilled I am that Boll & Branch is now a podcast sponsor because I truly can't say enough about this brand. Their bedding is beautiful and timeless, and honestly, it's hard to pick my favorite product from Boll & Branch. In our primary bedroom, we have the signature hemmed sheets, their waffle bed blanket, and the heritage quilt set. And y'all, I am not kidding. If you ask me what my favorite place is on earth, I will not say somewhere fancy like Paris. I will say my bed And truly, that is because of Bowl and Branch. Plus, you know how it's time to wash your bedding and you have a pit in your stomach because you don't want to wrestle with the fitted sheet and figure out where to put the corners? Well, the geniuses at Bowl and Branch labeled the corners. That's right. So now you don't have to guess how to make your bed correctly. It's such a small thing, but it's so nice. So guys, make the most of bedtime with Bowl and Branch sheets. Get 15% off your first set of sheets when you use promo code SIMPLIFIED at bowlandbranch.com. That's Bowl and Branch, BOLLAND branch.com, promo code SIMPLIFIED. Okay, question 5. Miranda from Fort Worth wants to know this. She says, help, I think my husband needs some dude friends. He had a pretty big circle of buddies when we graduated college, but one by one, they've all moved away. I've made friends through book club and other moms in our daughter's classroom, but my husband hasn't found the same kind of community, and I think he's kind of lonely. I feel bad when I'm going out with my girlfriends, and he never asks me to do the same for him. Okay, so like he's going out, or he's not going out. He likes watching the Cowboys and smoking meat on his big green egg. How can I get him some friends? Oh, that's a good one.
Does he golf?
Yeah. You've made a lot of friends golfing.
Yeah, I mean, they're not, I mean, golf's a great way, but there's also communities around like smokers and football.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine there's a whole community. Unless he's expressed his inability to make friends, it could just be a personal choice.
That's true.
I mean, it seems like you're smoking out on the weekends and, meats and ribs and you love watching football. That sounds like every guy I know. So there's plenty of people out there to hang with. He might just be a little more introverted than you. I don't know. I mean...
Yeah. I also think, at least when we moved to Pensacola and when we lived in Tampa, I made some really good, like, lifelong friends from Tampa that were wives of your friends.
Here's a point I'll make. The parents of kids in my kids' class.
Yeah, it becomes like our best friends.
It's become our crew.
Yeah.
And none of them are from college. Like I have a
No.
couple buddies from college that I still keep up with, but
Yeah.
I don't hang out with. So
Oh, book club. She mentioned book club.
did, yeah.
So, okay.
Oh, this is a good point.
Yeah,
This
you
is
tell
great.
it.
All right, so Emily, when we moved here, she joined a book club, and the women, they're all great. They also all happen to have pretty great husbands that I didn't really know all that well. The husbands of the wives in book club, we started our own group called Gentlemen's Critical Review.
So they meet upstairs at our house.
So we meet
downstairs
upstairs in the bourbon room. The wives meet downstairs and talk, and drink wine and talk about the book. We meet upstairs and talk about whatever. It's always a fascinating topic. I would start there. Start a Gentleman's Critical Review, but call it whatever you want.
Go buy that domain. Go buy that. Go look it up.
And then I would have all the husbands over to meet separately to kind of have their own, night
Yeah.
of drinking bourbon, talking about nonsense that guys like to talk about.
So we do this like the same nights, because I host book club at our house usually, and the same nights that we all get together, the husbands come over, and it's just a couple hours. Like our kids are here. Not everybody brings their kids, but our kids are here, and it's like half of them are teachers from their school, and all kinds of friends. But it's a couple hours, and the dudes are upstairs, and the moms are downstairs. It's fun.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I hope
Yeah,
you do a good job.
I hope that's helpful. Okay, question 6. This question is from McKinley in Decatur, Alabama. My husband wants to put our son in tackle football, but I'm so stressed out about it. How do you guys get through parenting situations where you don't always see eye to eye?
Well, that's two very different questions.
Right.
If we don't see eye to eye, Emily gets her way. That's
He's
what
not wrong.
happens. Okay. So there's the short answer to that. My job is to make her see it my way or not get my way. And so tackle football was something that we perhaps maybe both didn't agree about. We didn't.
I think we did agree. We both were a little like,
You had never really looked into it.
True.
And I didn't really push it because I wasn't sure how I felt about it either. I will say this, though, and not every program is the same. So
No.
Brady was in 6th grade playing with 7th and 8th graders. And if you know anything about middle school boys, an 8th grader
is a man.
Especially some of these 8th graders who've been held back a year.
Yeah.
There's a really 9th graders
Right.
playing against Brady, who's a young 6th grader. I mean, you're talking about a massive difference in muscle.
It's like 50 pounds and 2 feet.
Right. So the only good news I can share with you, depending on the age, is that the league that my son plays in did a tremendous job of player protection. Then they do a tremendous job of player safety, and they do a really good job of slowly walking Brady into different games. So he was not really exposed to get injured. He was more or less spending his first year learning the sport. playing and practicing hard, getting into shape, learning what it meant to work hard and practice
Be
hard
on a team.
and be on a team. And the 7th and 8th graders did a really good job on his team of bringing him along. They were really humble leaders, in my opinion, a lot of them. And so now, does that exist everywhere? I don't know. It did for us, and we were blown away and surprised pleasantly by Brady's first year in football when we didn't really know what to expect. So I would tell you to look into the football program. Again, if that was question 1. Question 2, when you don't see eye to eye, communication's everything. I think that, we have some strong personalities, and over the years I've had to learn that I can't be quite as strong in my opinions. I have to kind of I'm waiting for Emily to figure that out.
Oh my gosh, that's I was going to say that's both of us. Lord.
And so, yeah, it's just compromise of communication.
Well, and I think you have to
It's a problem that never goes away.
Right. As I've gotten older too, I've realized you have to pick and choose the hills you're going to die on, and it can't be every hill.
Yeah.
But there might be a couple hills. That tackle football was one hill I was prepared to die on. I did not think I was going to let my kid do it. But then I talked to so many moms, and I went to the parent meeting beforehand, and it was just
what was important for us is Brady playing tackle football. It wasn't my agenda versus your agenda.
Right.
Brady
wanted to
made the agenda. I wasn't pushing it. It wasn't about what Dad wanted. Dad didn't even make a big deal about it.
Yeah.
The only reason Mom came around on it is because Brady was obsessed with the idea of playing football. He was not coming off of it.
No, his desire was stronger than my resolve.
Right. So the best advice I would give you in the football scenario is, let's see what your son wants. And if he's completely passionate about it, then lean in and see if it makes sense.
Okay. Question 7. This is our last question, and I saved the most Valentine's question for last. This is from Lindsay in Minneapolis. Hi, our date nights lately have been takeout and a movie on streaming. It's fine, but it's winter and I'm bored. Honestly, I think we both are. What are your favorite out-of-the-box date nights? Is there anything fun we can do during the winter?
I was going to suggest takeout and streaming.
I was going to say, that sounds great. Okay, listen, I will answer this. So when we lived in Tampa, we've not done this here in Pensacola, but in Tampa, one time, I had been working out with this trainer like twice a week. And I was like, I want Bryan to come see what this is like. And so we got a babysitter. And we have an old Bronco. So we got in the Bronco. The Bronco doesn't have a top. And we drove... We turned on 90s rap, and we drove to the gym, and we worked out with my trainer, just the two of us. And then we went to the bar next door and had beer and burgers. It was one of my favorite date nights.
Yes, that was fun. I remember that one.
You got any?
Oh boy, impromptu. We're not good at this.
No, we're so bad at this.
Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
We talk very often about how we have not taken the time to date.
Not lately.
And you had just even mentioned that you're reading some book and someone mentioned something about
222.
222.
Yeah.
Seems like overkill, but
no, it's not overkill. Somebody I was reading about lately said they do this 222 thing where it's hold on, let me get this right. A date night every 2 weeks, a night away together every 2 months, and a big trip together every 2 years.
Yeah.
I think that's bad.
No, it's not bad. I think we're getting into that part of life where we're going to be able to. I think our kids are old enough to where we can, maybe sneak out for a dinner down the street. But we haven't really done a good job up to this point. So as much as I want to sit here and try to give you advice, I need the advice on this one. I don't think we do a good job of it.
You got anything else?
No, other than anytime you and I have made the time to go out and do something together with just the two of us, I believe it's been worth it, and we've enjoyed it, and we say that we're going to do it again.
Sometimes you just have to be intentional about it and make it happen.
Right, and there's probably lots of creative dates, like doing an escape room or going to do paintball or what have you, but really sometimes it's just not what you do and not how creative you get. It's just the fact that you're doing it together. And
finding a show to get into together, I have very fond memories of the twins being tiny in Tampa and us watching Mad Men. Every night we would watch an episode of Mad Men, and that was so fun.
The only downside to watching a show together or a movie together, and maybe this is what she's getting at, is that you don't really talk to each other that often. You're listening to something together.
Yeah.
And so anywhere where you go that's going to force a conversation is probably going to be good. But there's also nothing wrong with a great show and takeout.
Yep. The Simplified podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. When you're at your best, you can do great things. But sometimes life gets you bogged down and you may feel overwhelmed or like you're not showing up in the way you want to. But working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of you. Because when you feel empowered, you're more prepared to take on everything life throws at you. If you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, flexible, affordable, and entirely online. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Guys, you cannot find a more convenient option for therapy than BetterHelp. They make it so easy to find a therapist who's right for you, no matter where you are. And you don't have to have something big or traumatic happen for you to benefit from therapy. When I chat with my BetterHelp therapist, I look at it like I'm taking my car in for maintenance. You're just making sure everything's running the way it should. So if you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/simplified today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/simplified. All right, rapid fire. Ready? Your favorite Valentine's Day we ever had. You better get this right because there is a good... Oh, no, that was New Year's. Darn. Okay, I don't know. Favorite Valentine's Day? Okay, so I was thinking of New Year's when we did sushi and champagne, and that was so fun to like public sushi and champagne and watch the ball drop. We don't really do Valentine's Day. Does that make us lame?
I just remember when Brady was real little, we would go to a restaurant that had outdoor music.
Oh, yeah.
Brady would go dance, and he was like 1 or 2. He would just go dance like a little baby does, and you and I would just sit there and
$5 burgers, and it's like, remember that? It was like Mondays, you got like a glass of wine and a burger and fries.
Catch 23, shout out Tampa, Florida.
Tampa, what? Okay, most romantic meal ever.
Oh, we've done a lot of this. I mean, we've had
some good
meals. I mean, romantic. I don't know. We don't get too bougie on the romance, but we sure love a good meal and a nice bottle of wine. I mean, we've had the Burns. We've had some nice steakhouses.
Yeah, it's not. When I think of like those fancy places, it's not it. It's not it for me. Like, I think, gosh, like. Most romantic meal ever, I would say our first meal together on your back porch when you got Olive Garden takeout and a really bad bottle of wine.
That's right.
Remember that? Chicken marsala on the back porch.
Play is going to play.
Something. All right. The best Valentine's candy. There is a right and a wrong answer.
M&M's.
That's always wrong. Come on.
It's always right.
Gummy bears.
That's a good one.
Terrible.
Haribo.
Haribo only.
Only.
Okay. Your favorite thing about me today, because I know it's hard to pick.
The best thing about you today, I think, is you're being very intentional about letting go of stress.
Oh, I am.
It's noticeable to me.
You think I'm hot? That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Lord. All right. Thanks, Bryan Lay. Thanks for coming on. Next time, what do you want to come on and talk about next time?
I don't know. Am I going to get invited back after this one? I feel like I did not perform. I did not.
You did. You did a great job.
Knowledge.
Well, you did a great job. We're going to have you on next time to talk about like finances or something.
Oh, no one wants to hear that.
No. What do you want to come on and talk about next time?
I don't know. I could like just spill all your dirty secrets.
Lord. Is that what's going to happen while I'm on my sabbatical? It's going to be Bryan Lay spills the dirty secrets.
Bryan Lay drinks too much bourbon wine and then gets on a microphone.
Well, that was fun. I love any excuse to get Bryan on the podcast. You never really know what he's going to say, but he's always a good time. And I promise to have him on more in the future. As we close out this episode, I want to say a blessing for you as we leave this time together and get back to our days. Today, I hope you remember each of the relationships you have to celebrate. Your parents, your partner, your children, your friends. And in the Valentine cards and candy you give to each other, I hope you find memories of moments you laughed so hard that you cried, and the times you felt a hand slip into yours as the tears slid down your cheek. We were made for each other after all, for the hard and the sweet, to help each other go the distance. As always, I like to leave a little tip to help you put what we talked about today into practice, so here's your task for this week. It's hard to disagree with someone you love. If you find yourself in the middle of an argument that won't seem to resolve, especially if it's over something trivial, try what Bryan and I do. We have done this since we were dating. We throw it away. Basically, when we are at a stalemate about something that truly does not matter and we're not getting anywhere, rather than letting that argument take over everything and ruin our day, one of us can say, let's just throw it away. And literally, we will take that situation This is so funny to explain, but I swear we do this. Crumple it up with our hands and chuck it out the window. It is silly, it's symbolic, but shockingly, it kind of works. It brings you out of the heat of the moment and reminds you, okay, yes, I like this person and we're on the same team. Let's move on. So the next time you're in a tiff, try and throw it away. It might help. Thanks for listening to the Simplified podcast. I hope this episode brought you a little laughter and love. It sure did for me. You can find show notes for this episode at emilylay.com/podcast, where you can check out links and resources that we mentioned here and shop the Simplified brand of planners and products. You can also find my latest book called Sure as the Sunrise, 100 Morning Meditations on God's Mercy and Delight right now wherever you buy books. Thanks for listening to our show. If you liked what you heard today, why not give us a follow wherever you can? That way, the show will pop up into your phone every week. It is so easy. Till next time, thanks for listening. Bye.